Alright, welcome back to number 3. Let's go ahead and start getting this one set up. I think today we're going to actually build the turret top, and on the next one we'll start working on some of the motors and the wheels for launching the balls. But for right now we got to figure out how we're going to get a turret in here, the top portion, and what we're going to style it as. And I've gone through a few ideas in my mind. I want it to be kind of my own thing, so we're going to basically have a large gear that rotates with a motor on the outside here so that it'll actually rotate around it. And let's see what we can come up with. So first we're going to go ahead up to add, and we'll go ahead and add circle, and we'll make this one 12. That should do us. Go ahead and edit mode. Bring it up to the top. 7 to go on top. And go ahead into X-ray so we can see everything. Scale it out a bit to about right there. So basically this is just going to be the ring gear. And I think we're actually going to scale it out a little more. I think that'll work. Let's go up on the Z a little bit. So the way the gear works, we're not actually going to make the teeth. The teeth for the gear will be done in Substance, so we'll just put them in as a texture because we don't want too much geometry, and if we do teeth, it's just going to be way too much. So let's go ahead and scale this in. Scale it in one more time. Close that face. Do the same thing with the bottom. Scale it in. Scale it in one more time, and close that face. So basically we have our gear here. We go out this way. So we'll have a motor on the side with another gear that will actually rotate this portion. This will be one of our gears, and then we'll have another gear or a gearbox for the rotation portion. So now we need to actually start working on getting the rotatable mass. I think we're going to start up with a cube. Actually, let's Control Z that. So right now we selected this top ring, and what we're going to do is we're going to push Shift S to bring up this selection here, and we're going to snap the cursor to the selection so that we have the cursor there. And now when we add something, it will add it in that spot. So we're going to add a cube right there. Let's go ahead and pull you up. It doesn't matter if it intersects a little bit. And we're going to make this on the Y-axis. Whenever we import it into Unreal, we're going to want to rotate it to the X-axis with a setting they have. But the way Blender's set up, it really... Y is technically front, so when you go in your front view, you're going down the Y axis, and X is the side, and that's different in Unreal, but there's a setting in Unreal we'll mess with later that'll rotate it to the proper orientation. Because when we're in Unreal, any projectile, we want it to come out of the X, not out of the Y. So for right now, we're going to go ahead and just scale this down a bit and figure out how we're gonna make this look. So let's grab this one, let's rotate it down a bit. And I figured probably the easiest way to do this is, let's grab the whole thing again, scale it on the X a little bit more. So this is our center point. Let's grab the top face and we'll extrude it up. And let's see a good height for this. Let's go ahead and bring it up to about, yeah, let's go all the way up. Right there. And now with these edge loops in, let's grab another one here. That probably will work. And let's see. Let's go ahead and extrude, whoops, wrong one. Extrude this one out. So this is going to be offset. And the reason we're going to offset it, that's not going to work for us actually. Offset the whole thing. So the reason we're going to offset this is because there's going to be tires in here that are actually doing the rotation. We'll have a couple of motors on the back side that are running the tires. And let's see, what are we gonna do? Go ahead and put another edge loop right here on the bottom. And let's just get rid of these faces. That's what we're gonna do. Face 1, 2. Oh, let's put an edge loop. Whoops. So we have a problem up there. Let's merge and see what we got. We had some duplicates. Grab all these, merge. So when you put in an edge loop and it does this, that means that we don't have an actual, this is its own box right here that's not connected to the sides. And we don't really want that. So we're gonna get rid of the, all right, let's see if we can see it. So yeah, we have a face right here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Let's get rid of the face there. And we have a duplicate face there as well. I believe we have one edge here. Let's get rid of this edge. And it's still not connected because this top piece is actually not connected by the vertices. There's actually doubles here and there. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the whole thing, push M, merge by distance. We have 8 vertices that we removed, and now it should go all the way around on all axes, and it does. So let's go ahead and move this back here. Now we can start getting rid of the faces we wanted to get rid of. Let's get rid of that one. Accidentally moved it. This one, this one, this one, this one. Let's go ahead and remove all these faces. And go back here. Okay, so now we're starting to get where we want to be. And now basically we're just going to fill these back in so that we have this offset box. That. And we'll grab this one here. And we want to grab across here because since there's an extra vertex, if we did this face to this face, this wouldn't connect and we'd have an issue. Now we can, since we put in that single one there for that edge loop. And the reason we have those edge loops there is because we're going to do a little beveling on this. We're going to do a little curving to make it rounded to fit the shape of the wheels that are going to go in there. And it's just easier for the edge loops, and also when we smooth it, it won't smooth out kind of weird. So let's go ahead and we're going to drop in 4 edge loops, put them right in the middle like that. Go into 3. Let's grab you and we'll grab all of these, and we're just going to move them up just a little bit. Grab these ones, move them up just a little bit. Actually, we'll go a little higher. That'll get us our slightly rounded shape for where the tire is going to go. That's tire number 1. And we could do that on the bottom as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that on the bottom as well. So this one, we're going to actually grab the outside ones and leave the middle ones where they were. And we'll go up a little bit. Now I'm going to control to get rid of those and go up a little bit more. Actually, I think that was too much. So let's shift. Let's just grab these and then shift these. Go back down just a little bit to get that nice rounded shape. Just like that. Okay, so basically what we're gonna have is two motors in here, and then we'll have a tire here and a tire here. And the golf ball will hit the tires and then fly out. That's the plan. It's pretty much just a, I don't know if you've played baseball or if you mess with baseball, but they have the baseball cannons for practicing. We're basically just making one of those, but for golf balls. So it's a little bit smaller. And let's go back here. And that should rotate around this base. So we're going to grab all of these since they are together. And we're going to actually push P and separate this selection so that this is its own piece. Because when we import it, and you can see here we have our origin, so our origin's still matching this one. So now, when we rotate it on the Z, this will be our cannon. And it will rotate, and then we'll have the barrel to rotate up and down. So let's go ahead and drop some smoothing on all of this. And let's put this one on 60. And then we have, let's make the gear a little bit bigger. Let's grab all of these. And this middle one here. Oops. Didn't need to do that. Let's go back to X-ray to make this easier. This one and this one. And this one. Go to 3. Let's just make this a little thicker. About like so. And let's take a look at it. All right, I think that'll work. All right, so the next portion we're going to work on, let's go ahead and figure out, we will probably have to make this a little bit larger. So for right now, let's go ahead and just add a little small tension here in the bottom. Let's just add another edge loop. We'll grab that edge loop and we'll grab the one in the middle by Shift-Alt clicking. And we're going to actually extrude those down. So if we go to 3, we can see where our little indentation is here. And we can just extrude those. And it doesn't really matter if they touch the bottom or not, because you're really not going to see that at all. That just gives it something in there so it's not a, you can't see straight through it like there's nothing there at all. And now we can figure out how we're going to do the tires. So the tires are pretty much just going to go right here on this midpoint. And we may actually move around this back plate a bit, more out, more in, depending on what we come up with. So for right this minute, let's see if we can just get some tires. So the best way I think to do that, let's see, let's add a couple. Oh, I got another duplicate right there. Maybe not. No, that looks like it's going all the way around. Let's just go ahead and grab the whole thing and merge it anyway. Oh, yep, we got 12, so we did have duplicates there. Let me see. All right, everything looks connected now. All right, so let's go ahead and put in a couple of loop cuts. Like that. And then go up on the Z a little bit. Like that. Now basically all we're going to do is we're just going to add in a couple of circles. And we're going to add them in by the face. So if we click this front face. And let's see, is that going to be big enough for us? Let's see. Let's go ahead and Shift S. Cursor to selected. Let's add a circle. 12 should be fine. Push R to rotate, Y 90 degrees. That looks pretty good. So if we grab this bottom one down here, we do the same thing. Shift S, cursor to selected, add circle, rotate Y 90 degrees. Now we can get a sense of how big we can make these circles so that they come close to connecting at the middle, but not completely. And this is right now just for reference, just to get an idea. So if we move this up here, let's go ahead and grab this one if we can. And we'll have to go to there. Oh, not that select. Grab that one. Pull this one down a bit. So basically this will be our circles. So let's go EX, pull those out, grab both of them. So we're actually going to have these running right here in the middle, our tires. And I think this will probably be about as wide as we're going to want them. So we can center a little bit more, maybe a little bit wider. So that's about the max width of the tires. So we will be moving this back plate in so we can just grab all of it and then slide it into where we want it to be. About there. That works. I do think that will function. So now we just need to make a tire, and then we'll have this one replaced, and we'll just replace them with the tires that we have, and then we can make the motors that come off the back. And then we'll have our motor here. And I'm thinking maybe this whole thing is just a little bit too small for the feet. So let's just grab all of it, scale it all up, and then raise it up. Go to 1. And just center it the best you can. About right there. Yeah, that just gives a little more to aim at. Alright, so now we can actually start working on our tire. So we can just go ahead and work on this one first. We'll grab this tire, go to P, make it a selection. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on this tire, push /, get rid of everything else. And I think we're going to go ahead and just break this tire into 4 pieces. Can we do that? Yes, we can. So let's go here. Go ahead and edit and get heal. And we're going to just delete some of the vertices. Let's delete these vertices. Actually, let's go from the back side. We'll delete all of these and all of these. Yeah, that'll work. Delete those. So now we just have this one portion here. Go ahead into our modifiers. Grab a mirror modifier. We're going to mirror it on the Z. Let me see. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we can do that. Let's just back up. Go where we were. Back up, back up. All right, so basically we're going to want to just select the whole thing. And we're going to just get rid of this. Select the whole thing. We're going to go to set origin. We're going to do geometry to origin. Excuse me. We're going to do origin to geometry. So that it's right there in the middle. And that now we'll be able to mirror around that origin. Now, unfortunately, we have the origin down here, but we're going to add it again back to the model that we had, so it's not really going to matter. Actually, the tires, we're going to leave them with their own origin in the middle because the tires will be rotating around their origin, and then we'll just use sockets to put them where we need them to go. So for right now, let's go back in and let's redo the whole deletion we did earlier. Get rid of all those. delete all the vertices, go back to our modifiers. Let's go ahead to our mirror, and we are not going to do X, we're going to do Y and Z, I believe. Yeah, Y and Z. Okay, perfect. So now we have a mirror all the way around, whatever we move or change. And we're going to do this a little different. We're going to actually change our point up here so the bounding box center, whatever you select, you'll see our widget will snap to the middle of that. That's the bounding box center. And we're actually going to use 3D cursor. No, excuse me. Yeah, 3D cursor. And we're going to select the object, the whole object. And we are going to put the cursor in the middle, right where the origin point is. So now we're going to do a radial basically. So anything we scale down will scale down into that point. So like if I grab all of these and I extrude them and then scale them down, you'll see they'll scale directly towards that point. And since we're in here, let me put it here. Scale them down. So you're seeing they're scaling directly to that point, but we want to not scale on the X. So if we shift X, then we'll scale like this. And then we'll have a nice flat area, which we're actually not going to be doing right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a loop cut. Let's add a loop cut right down the middle. Let's delete this. Delete. And let's go ahead and mirror it on all sides. Okay, that'll be a lot easier. Now we can add one loop cut. We can grab this one and we can scale her down a little bit. I think I have a duplicate here, which I do. Delete vertices. I got the wrong one. Delete vertices. All right. So now we can scale this one down just a little bit to add that rounded tire shape. And we're probably not going to make it this wide. About like that. Let's go ahead and scale this portion here. And what we can do is add in another loop cut about here. Okay. We're going to get rid of all these central ones since we don't need them. Exit vertices. No, that's not what I want to do. Let's go to solid. Exit vertices. Should get rid of all the center portions that we don't need. Oh, got one there. One there. Alright, there we go. Now we have our donut shape. Seems like I deleted one of the wrong ones. And I did. You, and you. And this one and this one. Let's delete all of those. Oh, one more here. And we can grab this and just pull this out a little bit. Basically, we're just making a torus, and we could have done this with a torus, but I actually think this will be a little easier for us. Go on the X, start making our rim like this. Down just a little bit. And pull you in a little bit and then scale without the X. About like that. Let's go ahead in more. So that'll be our basic rim shape. Guess about like this. Go ahead and grab this one, put another one here. Scale, take off the X, so it's like that. And then we can scale this one in the middle, like so. Oh, let's not do that. already have one there. Let me see. Okay, E, S, and I'm gonna actually take off the X this time. And we can leave the hole in the middle. That'll work just fine. I did it again. S, Shift, E, S, Shift, X. Leave that hole right there in the middle. There we go. All right, so now we can just add a little bit more. Let's go ahead and add a little lip to our rim. Let's grab this one. Grab that whole setup there. We're gonna extrude that. S, Shift, X. And we're just gonna go out just a little bit. So when you extrude on a mirror like this, and you extrude these portions out, so we add a little lip there, you can actually see we added a face right here that we don't want. So you want to make sure that you get rid of those, because if you don't, whenever you do your shading, you're going to have a very weird artifact there. So we want to get rid of those faces on each side like that. That way they merge together seamlessly. Now we can go ahead and let's just take a look and see what we're getting here. So let's grab this edge and let's actually go down more with it. Grab one more here and just round that out just a little bit. Grab one here and we're going to S, Shift, and just straighten out, just give it a little curve like that. And that should do our tire pretty good. So the next thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and add in our seams. It's easiest now. And the way we want to do our seams, we're going to cut away this tire portion here in the middle. This whole part right here will be its own thing, so we can add the tread on. And then we'll cut away our rim. This is our rim edge. And we're going to do the rim edge in two portions. So if we go in the back, let's go ahead and put it in this one. We have this edge here on the inside, and we have this edge here on the inside. We're going to grab that one too. Those should flatten out, but we're also going to need to rip it down the middle like this. But we don't want to get all of these. So we're going to go ahead and grab them one by one, like so. And we're going to do the bottom. That's going to make it yeah, that should work. And these ones should rip out just fine. We could just go ahead and grab that one. Go ahead and mark all of our seams. And now we have our seam set. And we do have an extra vertex. I just noticed right there that we want to get rid of. So if we have this vertex here like this and we forget about it, when we go in and we add our shading, generally, if you have a face, it's much worse, but usually you can see a shading error here or a artifact. Luckily, we're not getting that because it's just that one vertex, but we do still want to get rid of it. So let's go ahead and grab it and delete vertex like that. And we can go out here. And let's see what we can get for our shading. Shading actually looks pretty good like that. Yeah, that looks good. I'm thinking maybe we'll actually grab this whole edge here and just move it out a little bit more. Just make it a little bit bigger on the rim. thing I don't like is this one and this one are, let's go ahead and scale it, Shift X, make those a little more rounded, like that. Yeah, I like that much more. And that will be tire number 1. We can go ahead and leave this here, the hole, and we'll just have the spindle for the motor stick through there with a nut on it. That'll work us just fine. So now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and go back into U, and there's our tire, like so, all mirrored out and set up. And we can grab this top tire here. Let's go with, why am I not select? I don't like that select. Let's go ahead here, grab all these, delete those, go back here, Shift D, grab it, pull it up on the Z axis, and go and see how close we are. So let's go to bounding box center again. And there we go, right about there. Perfect. Okay, so this will be our launcher system. And then we can make the setup for oh, okay, I see. That was just bugging me. The little hole there is still gray, and it just looks like a, yeah, an artifact, but it is there. It's just showing on the back. So that works just fine for us. So now we're actually gonna go ahead and let's go back to 1. So we got these pretty centered, so that's fine. And they have their own rotation point because they will be rotating, and they'll be rotating in the opposite directions. So this one will be rotating this way, and this one will be rotating this way. So we're actually going to put in the motors. The motors will have a spindle on them, and then in Unreal we'll add a socket to those, and then the socket will connect to these origin points here to put them in their place. And then that will constrain these to rotating on, because right now if you rotate this base, they're just staying there. So basically that'll lock them in the same spot, so that they'll rotate only on the, because we're only going to be rotating this portion on the Z axis only. And then the barrel will be rotating on the Z as well, but well, technically it'll be rotating on the Y up and down. And they'll only rotate, so the barrel will rotate a certain amount up and down only, and then this will be able to spin freely 360 degrees. And these will be spinning 360 degrees in opposite directions. That's what gives the ball its force when it's flying out. So I think that we're actually pretty good here. The next one, we're actually going to start making the motors. So we have 3 motors. We will duplicate them. So we're just going to make 1 main motor with the wiring and everything set up. A little bit of shrink wrapping to get some wire ties, stuff like that. Then we'll start working on the barrel itself, getting these portions connected. And then we'll start working on our basket for all the balls to fall down in. And then after that, we'll go ahead and cut everything out and put it into Substance Painter and start editing the textures and getting them all set up. All right, I'll see you on the next one.